Hey y'all, season 2, episode 28. Fancies, let's talk about it. Tonight is embracing change. I recognize that I am competing with the Rockets game, the playoffs. How is everybody? Good to see y'all on both Instagram and Facebook Live. How's everybody been doing? It's been a minute for some of us, huh? I haven't seen some of y'all in a minute. Hey. I know it's been a little minute since I've seen you. How you been doing? Any new music? I haven't been sharing anything. I haven't really been connected to anything new lately, but I will be back on that once we break from this season of Fancies. Let's talk about it. We have about 4 more episodes, and then we're going to be off for, I don't know, maybe a month or 2. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Depends on our next season and our episodes. But it's good to see y'all there, both on Facebook and Instagram. So forgive me as I go back and forth. But tonight we're going to talk about embracing change. So I expect for you guys to comment or ask any questions or share an experience that you've had where you had to deal with change. Because that, if you know the one thing in life that we're promised is that things are going to change. If nothing ever changed, everything stayed the same. You have to think about it from that point of view, that there would be no progression and things would not have gotten better for us. We wouldn't have seen progress in life, in the world, in anything. So definitely you want to make sure that we first recognize that change is inevitable. And so, you know how they kind of say, if you can't beat them, join them. So this might be one of those situations where you got to join them. Doesn't mean that you have to, just like dive right in and be okay with it. That's not what I'm saying at all. First and foremost, we are human beings. We do have a feeling. We do have feelings and emotions. And sometimes it takes a while for things to sink in for us, or for us to be able to process per se what's going on. I know we are again in the playoffs in Houston, and so I am competing with that. I won't make this one a long show unless the comments or the participation warrant it. If not, we're gonna just dive right in. Again, change, embracing it. Okay, so sometimes change can come at us rather quickly. Sometimes we might not notice that there is a change in something for quite a while. It might be, a time span before we recognize that there have been changes, and then we might have to adapt to those changes. I can tell you this one thing that I read in the book Who Moved My Cheese. It's a real good book, especially if you're developing professionally in the workplace, or if you are coaching your employees, staff, or if you have a friend or a coworker, or someone that you are mentoring, or someone that's dealing with some changes and they are not readily accepting those changes, or they are not able to cope with it. They might be having some developmental situations going on where they might be struggling a little bit per se. So if they're struggling a little bit, I highly recommend for that book, Who Moved My Cheese. One of the major points in that book is going to be, if you do not change, you will become extinct. And as we know, a lot of things in life and in technology per se, technology off top, right, have changed over the decades, over the years. Things are not what they once were. There was a time when we didn't have cell phones readily at hand, and that wasn't our way of communicating. Changes like that, technological changes and advancements are necessary, and so sometimes we have to embrace those. We have people who kind of go off the grid sometimes. Speaking of technological advances, they go off the grid, and they may, not readily accept it, and they may just go off the grid and say, you know what, I'm in survival mode, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just make it because I am going to rebuke you, change, and I can make it on my own. I was doing it before, and yeah, all these advances are nice, but what price do they come at, right? What price do we come at when we are looking at technological advances? What are we giving up to gain something technological, right? What are we giving up to gain, right? Because they're always saying that there's a trade-off or some kind of exchange, right? So we definitely don't want to be in that state of mind. So remember what I said. The author is, the last name is Spencer. Can't remember the first name. If you know, jump right in and share it. But the book is called Who Moved My Cheese? And there is a major point in there that where it says, if you do not change, you will become extinct. And I see y'all there on Instagram, baby. I see you. And I see y'all on Facebook. How y'all doing? And so I want you to make sure that you understand that change is inevitable. So you have got to figure out a way to embrace it. Luckily, there is a way that you can do that. And that is through time. Time softens the blow, is all I'm going to say. A lot of times we have to do things that are uncomfortable, but first and foremost, we have to be true to number one. We have to be real and true with ourselves, or to ourselves, or therefore we cannot be real or true to anyone else around us, right? So we have to recognize that we are taking an issue with this certain change, whatever it might be, whatever life is throwing at us, whether it's a health-related condition, whether it's a situation with our career, our job, maybe it's the end of something, or maybe it's the beginning of something new. A lot of times when they say, one door or window closes, the Lord will open another, or that's just, your blessing or the opportunity for you to receive, and that's going to be through change. And it's not always comfortable. It's something that you might have worked your way up to, and here it comes. And bam, it comes at a quick pace, something that you're not ready for. A lot of times, I can tell you from my own experience, I remember, feeling persecuted, in my position. I loved my job very much. It was a lot of hard work. That was, where I was at. And, but I felt persecuted a lot, because, I did speak my mind in a respectful manner, but yet and still, I still, was treated unfairly and, mistreated, and really was placed in a situation where it was do or die, forced to make a decision whether I resign or eventually come to head with, them no longer wanting to deal with me. Hey there, and try to find a reason to get rid of me, right? Okay, it happens. So I was put in a situation in which I was, treated wrongly, and it forced a change. And at first it was very scary because, like I've said before, if, you're used to working in a structured environment, you're used to working for, an employer, you go to work, you get paid, every week, every 2 weeks, whatever the arrangement is, you have that, that number in your mind, your bank account sees it, your pay card sees it, so you know exactly what you're dealing with, and you adjust everything around you according to your earnings. So in your mind, when you know that you have X amount of dollars coming, and you depend on that, of course you're going to get a little uncomfortable when okay, well, I've just lost my job, or I'm being forced into a situation. But all the time, I want to remind you that that voice inside of you is speaking to you. It's your intuition. It's your higher self speaking to you to tell you when you're uncomfortable with something, that you've got to make a change. So what I mean by that is it's necessary for you to change, because if you do not, then you will not be able to progress, right? Okay, so now you can go kicking and screaming into the night all the way, refuse to embrace it, refuse to accept it all you want. You can have a pity party, you can cry, and you can ask why, and you can go through the whole motions of all of it. But at the end of it all, when it's all said and done, unfortunately, nothing is going to change except the change itself. And you're going to have to embrace it. So how do you do that? right? That's the question, right? Because it's not just like, oh, I love this. So with that being said, back to the story. So when I eventually lost my job and went through what I went through, and, I got awarded, my unemployment, after some time, and I went and, pursued what I knew I was good at and went out on my own full time. I've been a business owner since 2010. I've always worked, for myself for a long time, but I have been a legitimate business owner since 2010. And I was terrified because, I was used to having, it's kind of like you have that safety net, right? It's under you. And, no matter what happens with your business, whether it succeeds or it fails, that you are going to be okay because you're going to work every day for the man per se, and you're earning X amount of dollars every week or every 2 weeks when you get paid, and those bills are going to get paid, right? The lease agreement is still due, your rent, your mortgage, whatever still due, the lights still have to get paid, car note insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, whatever, life insurance, everything still has to get paid, right? So you have that safety net. So when you're forced into a situation where you no longer have that safety net, and you have to rely on just, pure skill and pure strength and draw it from within, it's a scary thing. No safety net. Welcome, Sydney. Welcome, Patrick. And welcome, Claire Lynn. It's nice to see you. Ms. Latanya Marie, thank you for joining. Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys. And they're on Instagram as well. So when you're forced to, Sydney, been a long time, Sid. And when you're forced to have to rely on all you have is your own set of skills and abilities, sometimes it makes it a little scary. And so you wonder, hey, Adam, hey. Okay, well, I thought it was Sydney, but that's cool too. I love both of y'all because I want to see you guys too, and I'm planning on a trip very soon. But when you're forced to rely on just your own skills and abilities, and you no longer have, that safety net of that paycheck going direct deposit or pay card or whatever every 2 weeks, and you got to get out here and get it, you really see what you're made of. And when you look back after it's all said and done, after you've accomplished the things that you thought you couldn't accomplish, look what happened, right? So I am here to say that it's scary, terrifying, but it's possible. It's possible in relation to career and being a business owner, and being an entrepreneur, and a person who's not afraid. I've never been a person who's afraid of anything. I think that terrified my mama more than anything in the world, and my sisters, because they were always like, you're not afraid of anything. Well, what's there to be afraid of? We live, we die. What are you going to be afraid of? Everything in between? No. You're going to be afraid that you were born. You weren't even expecting to be born. You expect to die. So you know that on the in-between are the things that you're going to be afraid of. No need to be afraid, right? Everything in life is going to change. So now that I look back, more than 2 years have passed, and I'm doing just fine. Of course, there's ups, there's downs, but I'm doing just fine. And that's because I had to learn how to embrace it. I didn't have time to think at the moment. I kept myself occupied with my eyes on the prize per se. And the goal was to do whatever it took within the law and within reason and within, my own comfort zone, as far as not doing things illegally, or harming another person or anything, or any of my own personal creeds or rules in the process, and being successful in the end. So, it's a constant. When you work for yourself, it's always going to be a constant. But I tell you what, at the end of it, when it's all said and done, the rewards are all yours, because you're not doing it for the man. You're not doing it for a corporation. You're not doing it for anyone but for yourself. And you're the one who sees the rewards of that, of your hard work, fruits of your labor per se. When you're working for someone, they can just turn their back on you like it's nothing. One day you're everything, you're good as gold. I don't know how we've made it without you. And the next day, 5 minutes later, You're toast, you're out of here. We don't need you. You didn't do something to my liking. You're gone. There is no loyalty. So here with me, I'm loyal to me, and I know that I'm going to do what I have to do to preserve and to grow. So what I'm saying to you is, through my own example, is that change is scary, but you do have to embrace it. That is the one thing in life that is for certain, is that everything will always change. We try to hold on to the things that we can, because we like, repetition. Some of us like repetition. Some of us like, a routine. I'm guilty of that. I was told before, you're very predictable, ha ha ha, I knew you wouldn't do anything different because you're very predictable. Well, there is a part of me that is predictable, and that's okay too. Because, if I'm predictable in the sense that I'm loyal, that I'm faithful, that I'm honest, if I am predictable in that sense, well, then I know that that's a good thing to be. That is a good predictability, right? That I'm always going to be loyal. I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to show up when I'm supposed to, and I'm going to show out when I'm supposed to as well. I'm going to do it. So it's cool. That's fine. Everything, we can't control everything. We can control some things. And so that part of us doesn't have to change. That part of us doesn't have to change. But we absolutely have to be open to embrace the changes that are coming our way. If we are not, we cannot grow. It's not about how other people feel about you or about the choices that you made. Either they're going to support you or they're not. They're going to pray for you or they're not. They're going to talk about you behind your back. They're going to, prey upon you. They're going to pray for your demise because they're jealous, or because, they don't have the courage or the strength to embrace their own changes that are headed their way, or the strength to do what they need to do to keep it moving, and to have the courage to learn something different, and to understand, again, that the only thing that is constant is change. So once you embrace that, once you are aware of that, and once you take it and internalize that, take some time for yourself, think about it, and then you have to come up with a plan. And that's what I'm telling you. These are the ways that you embrace change. Number one, you have to make a plan. You have to plan. You have to say, okay, I have no control over the situation. What are my plans? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What can I do? All right, let's lay it down. Thank you, guys. Let's lay it down. Let's see. Okay, this is what I know for sure. I'm going to show up. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do what it takes. I'm not going to lay down and die. I'm not going to give up. And that nothing no one says about me, speaks against me in a bad way or a negative way, is going to change what I know, what I can do for me. I know me. If I know anything in this world, I know me, right? And I know what my power is, right? So I know, since I know what my power is, then I know what I am capable of, what I can do. So let's go ahead and make a plan. I need to make a plan. This is a short-term goal, per se. This is what I got to do. This is what I need. So let's get to the skinny of it. What can I live without? What can I live without? What can I trim down? What can I do? It's possible to make it. It's possible to make it in any goal that you have for yourself, or specifically when you are pushed against the wall and you have no choice, and you've got to react, and change is required. Change is necessary, and change is inevitable. It's not going away. You have to embrace it. So first thing you can do is make the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of comments here that I have on Facebook. And so thanks so much. He says, speak the truth. That's my cousin. There we go. All right. And Boss says true. Yes. And Miss Claralyn, welcome. And she says, we are powerless over other people, places, or things. Absolutely. Like I always say, the only thing that you can control is how you react. Only thing you can control is your behavior. The only thing you can control is what you are responsible for. Can't be responsible for another one. And then Matt said, I'm sorry, Adam says, I admit I hate change, but I love you. Right. right? Nobody likes it, right? Okay. And then Claire Ellen says, check all sources of income. Absolutely. Look at it all. Look at what you can do and then adjust accordingly. That's the second point. Adjust. First, you have to make a plan. Second step is to adjust accordingly, right? Okay. And then so boss says God's will is powerful and unaltered. And I absolutely agree with you. What is for you is for you. There's not a word that anyone can say. There's not a spell that anyone can do. There's not any negative amount of energy that anyone can wish upon you, force upon you, bring around you that will change what is for you. Remember, what is for you is for you. It's your destiny. No one can change that, not even you. You might want to, because you might be faced with it. You might feel like you're dealing with an uphill battle. You might not know how to do it. You might not know where your strength is going to come from. But you know what? It's up to you to connect the dots, right? So make the plan, adjust accordingly. Those are my top two at the moment. And then, that's just what you have to do. It's just necessary for you to realize. Now, let me say this. You definitely have to take time. You have to internalize. Sometimes things come at us so fast, we don't know how to handle it, right? Okay? So this is where I said to comes back into play about adjusting, okay? Adjusting. Sometimes changes come from all different directions. Many things could be happening at one time. Let's just say we are attacked in our health, areas of our health, right? We are ill, whether it's something terminal, whether it's something, that's just lingering on. It's not, terminal or life altering, whatever it is that we're being attacked, whatever area we're being attacked in with our health, whether it's a temporary, short term, or terminal, a lot of times that happens to us very quickly. We didn't expect it, and now we don't know what to do. How do we embrace changes in our health, right? Okay, perfect example. Two perfect examples of this. As a woman, being in a situation to where, your womanhood is basically taken away from you in the form of emergency surgery, where, you've had some kind of issue come up and you have to have emergency surgery for emergency hysterectomy for losing the things that make you a woman, make you have the ability to bear children, right? When you're in a situation like that comes at you so quickly. How is it that you can embrace that? Because emotionally, as a woman, you're damaged, especially if you don't already have children. This is such a permanent change, right? It's life altering, right? Hey, Lala, I see you there. So it's life altering. So when you come to a medical situation like this, as a woman, right, where there's no reversal, your parts are just gone. It's not possible for you to do that. Well, what can you do? First things first, you have to take the time that you need to heal, because this is an emotional journey for you. It's never going to change. You're never going to not think about it. You're never going to not have regrets. You're going to wish, you're going to pray, you're going to cry, you're going to beg, you're going to feel like you're going to meet the maker. You're going to bargain. You're going to do everything. It's all about what you don't want to face, and that's a life-altering change, right? Okay. And remember, I told you guys that I only speak from experience, right? And I only talk about the things that I know. So I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. It is hard to embrace a life-altering change. It is very hard. And I'm going to tell you the way that I had to deal with that was that I had to first heal. I went through that whole process of loss and anger and bargaining and threatening and shutting people out and all of that until I got to this place to where I was able to accept and embrace the change. It was not easy, and anyone who tells you that it is lying. They're not for real. They're superhuman, and I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of superhumans, okay? All I know is that pain is real, loss is real, struggle is real, and that is something that takes time. So take your time. And in order to embrace change, you have to take the time, right? So more comments here on Facebook. Okay, see you freezing up on Instagram and going to Facebook. I see you. I see you here on Facebook. Welcome, Lala, there. I see you. And you needed to hear this tonight, she says, Claralyn. You know, I'm going to tell you, it took everything in my power because I almost just said, you know what, we're rescheduling for next week. If one thing happened, 5 things happened. But you know what? I said, you know what? Press on through. Be your own self. Let's get it. Let's do it. Show up. Do your best despite what you're going through. You know, and on a side note, I might have a broke big toe. But oh well, I'm here with y'all and there's a reason for it. Hey, love. See you there on Instagram. It's good to see you. So, you know, I'm here. And, you know, again, it's not always about me. And I recognize that. It's not always about me. It's really never about us, right? We are instruments. We're solely instruments in this universe. And we're being used. And people don't really understand. And you're not supposed to. That's why we have hindsight, right? After it's all said and done, then we can remember, go back. Oh, that's what that was about, right? Now we know, and it's all good, right? So she's so Adam says, you are growing so much, lovely. Love this video. Thank you. You know, that means the world to me, right? 6 months apart and 6 months smarter. That, you know, maybe that's the TBD, right? To be determined. Okay. Anyway, and then Miss Claralyn says, been there, lost great men because I can't have kids and they wanted them, right? And I think that that's one thing that's hard to come to terms with, Miss Claralyn, when you are dealing in a situation, you know, where you are a good woman, you meet good men, you have, you know, through your path, and, you know, they don't have children, they want to have children, you know, and you have to be honest about what's happened, you know. I'm sorry, this is not something that I can do, you know, I'm like that tree that can't bear fruit, right? And so you have to go through that. It's very painful, but remember that what's for you is for you. So, you know, although it is very, very hard to accept, you just have to know, you know what I'm saying, that truthfully, what's for you is for you. I have no idea why things happened the way they did. I really don't, you know. And I sympathize with that struggle because I totally understand that struggle. I got it, right? Okay, so I get you. But, you know, and I'm going to be real with you, along my path, along my journey, before, you know, I got married, you know, the conversation had to be had. Anyone who was dealing with me, anything that looked like it could be potentially serious, the conversation had to happen. It wasn't a premature conversation, Miss Claralyn, but if it felt like it was something that was going to be, or it was viable, or it could be, you know, and, you know, no children or whatever, you know, hey, I had to have the conversation. You know what? Here we are, you know, and this is what I'm capable of, and this is what I am not able to do. And, you know, and honestly, you know, I've had people say, you know, I'll adopt, you know, a team of children for you, you know, and, you know, it was flattering and it was kind, but in the back of my mind and in my heart, I knew, you know what I'm saying, that it wasn't a go and it wasn't right. And so I said, you know what? I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your honesty. Thank you for being an honorable person. Thank you for having a great heart. Thank you for everything, you know. But this is something that I can't deprive you of. You deserve that. So I want you to go and find your way and, you know, do what makes you happy. You deserve that. So go do that. Because if that's not something I can give you, you know, I want you to do that. And if I really care about you as a human, if I really have love for you at all, then what I will do is be unselfish and allow you to make that choice for yourself. Go and see how it feels. See how you feel. And if you choose to come back here to this place and you choose to live this life with me and you're satisfied with that, by all means, here are my arms. I'll embrace you and we'll move forward, right? Okay. There's no ill feelings about it. And good. I've seen I've seen the wings spread, and I have seen beautiful children that have nothing to do with me, you know, and it's all good. Not mad. It's a blessing for you. It's a blessing for the person that you were destined to be with, and I'm with who I'm supposed to be with, and it's all good. And we're all good. Everybody is great. That's what I'm saying. So y'all are happy, you know, go and do what you got to do. And I'm going to do what I got to do. Right? We're good. All right. Hey. And then Lala says, we've been through it all. Time don't always heal you fully, depending on the issue, but things do get easier. That is very, very true. No, I haven't seen. No, I have not seen O. I have not. I miss O. Come on back. Part of the family. Fancies, let's talk about it. You know, a very healthy contributor. And I want you to come back. And I hope you will come back. Right? Okay. And thank you guys. Hey, Sid. Sydney, and I'm talking to you, dork. I love you guys. Am said, dork, I love you, boo. I know where the dork came from, right, cousin? I know you so well. We don't have to be in the same state or even talk, you know, every year to even know who said that, right? See, now you're good. Now you are a mirror and echo what my husband just said today to my sister about me having OCD, Sydney. When he said she has OCD, and my sister said, yeah, she does. Yeah. Okay. And what's the problem? Right? What's the problem? She says, Sydney says, anyone who needs an awesome house cleaning, invite her to your house. I know. I don't know. I'm not sure, Lala, why. I think they just come up a little bit at a time. And so, you know, I think they just come up a little bit at a time, the comments or whatever. But I definitely want you guys, you know, to know. Welcome if you're just joining, guys, you know. And there we go, you know. And, you know, Claire-Lynn, I want to tell you, you know, that, you know, and I've always been very honest about it. You know what I mean? You know, being, you know, in the first marriage, you know, 2 children in the first marriage, you know, I did not give birth, you know, to either one of the children, you know, but I raised them, you know, and one from 22 months and one from 10 months, you know, and I lost, you know, the oldest one, you know, it's been 5 years ago now, and it was a difficult loss. You know, it was a real difficult loss. You know, you couldn't tell him or me that, you know, he didn't come from here, you know. And so, you know, it was difficult. That was another change. That was what I was talking about, those terminal changes, those changes that come at us, you know, that we can't have any control over. And so we have a difficult time. Yes. And so, and you know what, Sydney, those are the best moms, right? Because we didn't have to. Right? And they're yours. And nothing or no one on this earth can get in between that or change that. It's a special bond. We're not replacements by any means, because we don't want to be replacement. But, you know, we're our own in our own right? And it's all good. And it ain't no problem. Yeah. And she said, Mama is worse about cleaning. Yeah. You know, I'll talk to you about that later, because she has chilled somewhat. It was so funny that somebody had mentioned, to me, they said, oh, you know, about Mama Red, that she cleans like she was cleaning up a crime scene. Are you sure you didn't commit a crime up in here? Are you sure? We're you know, get the luminol. Right? That's what I heard anyway. You know, somebody had made that comment, oh, you think I'm bad? Check her out. But actually she has chilled, you know, in her younger age that she's gained. She's chilled. Anyway, it's all good. So, you know, about the changes, again, there are things that we can't change, you know. We have life events that we can't change. And same thing can be said too. You know, males experience situations where they have injuries, you know, where they, you know, are no longer, you know, able to produce children. Some of them are even born that way, you know. Some of us are born that way with, you know, reproductive, you know, system issues. And some men, you know, were born that way, you know, and that's okay too. It's what it is, you know. I had people, you know, say, you know, I'm, you know, 30 years old and, you know, never, you know, been pregnant or never, you know, got anyone pregnant, you know, or my wife and I have been trying, or my significant other, and it just hasn't happened. You know what I mean? Maybe something's wrong. They go get it checked out, and come to find out is that they are, you know, void of that capability. All right. So, it's an emotional thing, and that makes them feel, it makes them look at themselves in a lesser than capacity or to devalue themselves, right? But you can't do that because everything happens for a reason. You are the father or the mother to something greater. Maybe you don't know that yet. Maybe it's not for you to know just yet. Again, embracing change is difficult, right? And she says, I didn't either, but they are my babies anyway. That's right. I know exactly what you mean. And nothing, like I said before, and nothing can change that. Nothing or no one can come between or change that, and, I wouldn't want to interfere, or again, I'm not a replacement by any means. What's for me is for me, and I'm cool with that, right? Okay, so there we are. So in order to, embrace change, we have to give ourselves time to go there, to heal. We have to adjust accordingly. We have to make a plan so that we know, what I'm saying, what we are capable of doing. And we can focus on the cans rather than the can'ts, right? Can't's not a word. Heard that before? So we can focus on what we are able to do. So we can pursue that with all of our might. And believe me when I tell you that you are much stronger than you know. You don't even know where that strength comes from. It's like you say, it's just like, whoa, where'd that come from? When it's all said and done, where'd that come from? I didn't even know that I had that power or that strength within me. Again, what is for you is for you. That is not something that anyone can interfere with or deny. And Miss Latanya Marie says everything happens for a reason. Absolutely. And we can't see it now. It's not for us to see. Sometimes, when I think about it and I look back on my life, I say that, there were times that if it were revealed to me at that time, I probably would not have been able to handle it. If I would have been equipped with the knowledge as to why or what was coming my way, at that time, I was not strong enough. Adversity builds character. Character builds strength. So if you think about it from that point, when you're looking at it from that perspective, how things, evolve, basically the evolution of things, at that point, that when you look back, at that moment, if you would have been equipped with that knowledge or that information, at that time, you would not have been able to handle it, And I know that now when I look back in situations, because, there have been times that I've been scared. And me, I'm not afraid of anything. But the truth is, when you're used to or accustomed to a certain lifestyle or whatever, and I'm not saying, elaborate stuff. I'm talking, hey, Big Mike, hey there, T-Money. I'm not talking about elaborate things. I'm talking about, a modest living, being able to, go somewhere and not have to worry, being able to take a vacation and not have to worry about things, being able to gas up your car without checking your bank balance, being able to go to the grocery store or go shop for something for yourself or buy some tickets to a show that you want to see without having to worry about it. That's what I'm talking about, a modest, modest life. So I know, it's scary when you're faced with those things. And then there's some more comments. Missing my boo, but can't change the situation. Nope. And there's a reason for that. It's not always about us. And rarely is it about us. That's what I keep trying to remind you guys. I want y'all to remember, rarely is it about us. A lot of times we are simply instruments in the equation. We're being used, and I'm not saying in a negative way, we are being used to teach someone else a valuable lesson or basically affect their life in a positive way, whether we are in the grand scheme of things in the end result or not. We are being utilized for that purpose, and it's not up to us to know that. And again, many times, I'm going to say 99% of the time, if we knew the reason for everything, we wouldn't have been able to handle it at that moment that we were presented with that knowledge. That is why we have to grow and learn, right? Okay. And she says, talking about death, how about Aunt Debbie running over the bottle dog on a 10 speed? Adam, you're crazy, but yeah, it's still painful, right? Right. That's right. Silly. Okay. And talking about, and it's okay. So then Miss Clairlyn says, she's telling you to close your keyboard and you will be able to see the comments, Lala. She's telling you to do that. That's how you see the comments that you're not seeing in real time. Lala says, I have too much other change going on with work too and in life in general. Right. You know, right now, I mean, it's your season, you know, like I tell you right now, you know, it's a season people are growing. We're in our growing season sometimes. A lot of us are in our growing season and we don't even realize that we're in our growing season. You know, we don't think we have the strength that we can go on, but you can. You can do it. And everything's going to be fine. It's going to work out. Remember, you know, take the time. You know, be good to yourself first. Take it easy on yourself. And remember, like I said, you have to embrace it. The way that you embrace the change is to recognize what you can do. What is it that I can do? Make a plan, okay? Number one is making a plan. Second is to adjust accordingly, okay? All right, there's a bigger picture here. And when you get there, it's our destiny and our life's journey. When you get to those different benchmarks in life, when you get to those different points, you're going to recognize and realize at that time what it was all for, what it was all about. And then you can look back on that journey and you can say, I was strong, I did make it. But more than that, I want you to remember that there's always someone watching. How many times have I said that? It's rarely, again, about us. Usually, it's always someone watching us, seeing us go through our adversities and our struggles and watching how we were able to just take that in and run with it. I have been told so many times by the closest people to me that, hey, you were going through hell. I saw this firsthand. I was right there with you, no matter what it was, whether it was health, wellness, wealth, you know, family relationship with your children, with your spouse, whatever it was. I was right there and had inside intimate knowledge. I saw it all going down. And I saw you handle it like a champion. You went out there and you took it blow for blow. You went 12 rounds. You know, you got up, you handled yourself. You didn't speak bad things. You didn't wish bad things on the situation, the perpetrator, whomever it was, whatever it was going on. You didn't say, oh, why me? It's not fair. I don't like it. You know, why do I have to go through this? What did I do to deserve this? You didn't say, poor me, pity me, you know? You didn't, you know? And so at that time, you know, I was just doing what I had to do. And I wasn't recognizing that I was as strong as I was. And I absolutely didn't recognize that I was on UTV. Basically, people are watching. People are seeing. People are just gaining strength from you, gaining ability from your experience, you know, and being encouraged by what you've gone through and what they're seeing, right? I want you to recognize the bigger point here. It's not always about you, and that someone is always watching. Oh, I'm glad. That's so sweet. Cindy said, damn it, Adam, sorry, I can't control my husband. You're cuss, right? That's okay. You know, I expect that. And she said, I still wear your earrings. Oh, good. I'm glad. I love that, right? That's what's up. And she says, no, it's blocked because your pages are private. Welcome if you're just joining now. You know, and so we're just talking about that. So anybody else want to offer any tips or advice on how they have embraced a recent change? I want y'all to think about that, and I want you to share, because, you know, that's sort of what we do. You know, there is strength in numbers. There's a strength in groups. There's a strength in abilities. You know, whenever I'm hard on myself, you know, I have to go back and apologize to myself. I have to confide in others and say, you know what, I've been really treating myself bad lately. I've been beating myself up. You know, I had said that a couple about 3 weeks ago or something. I had said, you know, I had gained 15 pounds, and all of the people around me are saying, oh, it looks good on you. You know, you're too skinny before, you know, oh, you know, could stand again a little weight, didn't bother you, you know, look nice. You know, tell that to the person who can't wear that 2 or 4 anymore. You tell them that, you know what I'm saying, that you're busting out of you definitely couldn't fit the 2. It's laughing at you. You're busting out of the 4, and a 6 is looking real comfortable right now, right? You're going from that small or extra small to a medium, you know, for comfort. You know, it didn't feel good, and I beat myself up about it. And I looked at it from the point of, well, you're exercising, you're killing yourself with this diet, you know what I'm saying, you're doing this. And I had a couple people reach out to me and say, you know what, you're beautiful just the way you are. Your inside is more beautiful than your outside ever could be. You're unmatched. So I want you to not beat yourself up about that. We're human beings. Our bodies go through changes, you know, as, you know, whatever we're going through, you know, we're going through a seasonal change. We're going through climate changes. Things are happening to us, that we are not even really aware of. What are you putting into your body? What did you do that was different? Maybe you need to vary your routine, that type of thing. And so, I had to sit down and think about it and say, you know what? Okay, you're not a 2 right now. Maybe you're not supposed to be a 2 anymore. Maybe, when they take those pictures of you and you model for their clothes, maybe they want people to see a 4. Maybe they want to see you with your face a little bit fuller. Maybe they want to see, you're popping other places. Maybe they want to see that. Maybe that they feel like that represents better. Maybe that's why they're posting the pictures of you that you would run from, that you would hide from. Trust me, when they post the pictures of photographers or whatever, I'm going like, hey, take that down. Don't post that. Please ask me first. Because I'm more critical of me. We're all guilty of being more critical of ourselves and seeing flaws within. I'm telling you, right now I see a hair out of place. I would be so critical of that. And that would be like, it would be detrimental to me, but not anymore, because it is what it is. And I've learned to accept that. I'm only human. I'm going to have my times. Y'all see me go from, 15 down, 15 up, 40 up, 50 up, whatever, down. I've done it all. I've gone up, down, down. You know what I mean? And so it's part of life. And so I had to embrace that and recognize that it's just part of it and not beat myself up with it. So I had to embrace the change. It wasn't easy when you can't fit in your clothes and you don't want to go spend money and you're afraid of what the world is going to think of you because, you're not paper thin anymore. You don't look like a thin mint anymore. You know what I mean? You got hips and, you got curves, more curves. It's rough. You feel that way, right? Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what my cousin Adam says. That's right. Keep it going. Keep it moving. You got to be strong. We don't realize how strong we really are, but we're there. We are more than conquerors. Remember that. We are there. And Sydney says, I'm guilty myself. Thank you, boo. I'm stopping that mess. Right? It doesn't feel good. You're constantly beating yourself up. I got tired, Embrace it. People who love you and recognize, your beauty, they're going to always see that same beauty, and it's not something you should worry about. If they didn't want to book me, they wouldn't book me. Bottom line. And that's okay too, That's the same way. I've always tell y'all, if you know anything about me, that I have always, any campaign that I've ever worked on, period, I have always, in any pictures I used to do, I did this project where I did a selfie every day for a whole entire year. And every single time that I took the pictures, I was always such a lady. And that was always something that always drew people to me. Not just men like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking always drew people to me because people would always say, you know what? I feel good. I don't have to compete with these people that are half naked. That's not who I am. I don't want to have to do a bathing suit pic or a bikini pic or, a pajama pic. I don't want to have to do that. I don't have to bear, everything. I want to leave something to the imagination. And you made me feel comfortable doing that. Because if you go back and you look on Instagram, from 2016 it was, and you look, there's a picture every single day in the brown mirror, we call it. That was gifted to me. And I'm always constantly completely covered up like a lady should, like the lady that I am. No judgment here. Whatever you're comfortable with, by all means, go ahead. But I was showing them and I didn't even know that I was doing it because I was in my comfort zone. So I'm grateful that, the people who book me, the people who ask me to help them, grow and launch and trade off, for pictures and trade off for, promotion or whatever. I'm happy to do it because we have an understanding and we have an actual, appreciation for each other and we have a love for the art of it. And thank you very much. The compliment never gets old. But I just want you to understand that we all face different changes in our life. And we have no choice but to embrace it. It's how you embrace it. It's how you react, when you get there. It's how you react when you are faced with it. It's how you react. And, we might not always be our best self. And if we react in a bad way, we have to, recognize we reacted in a bad way. We have to pick ourselves up and say, you know what? Maybe that wasn't very becoming, but guess what? Here I am. I admit it. I'm woman enough or man enough to admit it, and let's move forward. And people who really care for you and people who are really here for the long run, people who are here for the victory lap, people are here at the end. When you cross that finish line, they're going to still be here for you and they're going to be loyal, they're going to be faithful, they're going to be understanding, and they're going to be forgiving. We all have to be forgiving. And that's pretty much what it is. So first and foremost, you have to understand that nobody expects you to just say, oh, sure. Oh, yeah, yay. I'm ready. I'm ready to lose my job. I'm ready to go out on my own or be an entrepreneur. I'm ready to have to update a resume, or I'm ready to go sit in front of people when I'm not very good at interviewing, or, I'm uncomfortable selling myself, in an interview. Oh, now I'm forced to go learn, these programs that I never learned because it's in demand. Now I need to go learn SAP. Now I need to go learn QuickBooks or Excel. Now I need to become a pro with PowerPoint, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. We're faced with things that we don't want to face. We are faced with having to make changes developmentally that we don't want to, right? But you can do it. Again, just to run it down for you. Recognize your capability, what your power, where your power lies, what you're able to do. Make a plan. Adjust yourself accordingly. Whatever that means, trim the fat. And it's going to work out, I promise you. This is the most inspirational talk I've heard in a long time. Thank you for being you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I'm excited too, because, I've been, working on the voice work for a while, but I actually have a meeting tomorrow to do an audiobook reading for something that is self-help or encouragement from a young lady that is here in Houston that has written a book about her challenges that she faced. And I am hopefully shooting for it to do the audiobook. So I'm going to share that with you guys so that you can listen to my audiobook. Listen to me on her my audio work on her book, and promote that. I'm excited about that. I'm really, really excited about that. We all are called to do something. We don't always know what it is. And that's the reason why we see our life go through changes sometimes. So just know that you can make it. You just adjust accordingly. Plan, adjust, embrace. Remember what I told you. If you have not picked that book up, Spencer. His first name is Spencer or last name is Spencer, but it's called Who Moved My Cheese? Remember that. Who Moved My Cheese? Look at that. I read that book. It's a quick, easy read. It's inspirational. It's, like I say, quick and easy to read, and it will change your outlook, I promise you. The last name is Spencer, I think. Yeah. Or first name is Spencer. Anyway, Who Moved My Cheese? You can get it from the library. You can get it used, whatever. If you want to borrow it, I'll ship it to you. I have it. You can send it back. Autograph it to me and send it back that you read it. Let me know what you thought about it, how it changed your life. But the main point of that book is that if you do not change, you will become extinct. So that's the point of that. Lastly, I want to talk to you about being faced with immediate changes such as terminal illness. I have many people who are going through this with people that they know, people that they have recently lost, to terminal illnesses, people that are, in hospice, people that are going through a lot right now. And, my heart is with you. My prayers are with you. You have to know that. And it's not easy. Whether you're the person who's going through it and you're watching, there are not enough words that I could say to comfort you. All I can tell you is that our destiny is our destiny. And hopefully, you have been impactful. If it's you that's suffering with it, if it's a loved one that's suffering with it, if you're facing, a terminal loss of a loved one, I'm here, you're in my prayers, you're in my thoughts, my sympathies are with you. And just know, that again, you can look at it from the point of those people that we love being sacrificial lambs. You can look at it from that point. We're learning something from it. A lot of times when we lose people, they always say the good die young, or the angels are always called home first. You don't understand why the good gotta go. I get it. People that have never harmed another hair on anyone's body, never hurt an insect, if you try to push them, they wouldn't react. I get it. I feel the same way. I have experienced loss myself and didn't have an understanding as to why. Very young people, 19 years old, experienced, first major loss of a best friend. Had no understanding for someone so kind to be gone. It was shocking. It changed me, but it changed me for the better. It helped me learn and grow through acceptance that there is nothing that I can do to change someone else's path or destiny. And it reminded me of how precious our time is here and how important it is for you to smell the roses while they're here. While you're here, smell your roses while you have them. You know, it basically that means to enjoy your life every day while you have it. No one is guaranteed anything. We are born and we die. Everything in between, you know, it's important to enjoy it and to be the best you that you could be, impactful, you know, and just be good and be an inspiration. Handle yourself and just move forward, right? Yes. It says David Bishop survived leukemia, maybe. Prayers to God, right? Praise God. Yeah, got it. I know, right? I know. I mean, you've seen it in your own family. You know, we've had a loss in our own family. I have a close friend that's going through it right now. You know, I'm like their family is like my family. You know, and you know, not that I had a relationship at all with my birth father at all. You know, met the man once. You know what I'm saying? As a preteen at 11. You know, I spent a whole week with the man. And then I didn't have any more, affiliation with them, not by my own choice, but as I was growing up, until, I was in my 20s, maybe 23, and he just passed away on Christmas Eve. I was stirred up inside. I had emotions about it. There was a void. I couldn't explain it. And I had to have time to process how I felt. I was left out a lot of information. I was kept a secret, in his life that he had without me. And the thought of that was also, painful, because it's like, I'm a good person, I thought, and like, why would you deny, your child? And why would you hide? And there goes my baby sister. And why, and in life and in death, I can't have a parent who was proud of me, right? But remember, like I just said, it's not about me. It wasn't about me. His life's journey and his destiny was about him, what he did, and I learned a great deal from that experience. I became a good parent because of it. I became who I am because I would never deny a child because of that. I'm sensitive, to people because of that. I'm sensitive to people who have gone through it because of it. If you have been denied, you know what I'm saying? The only living child, the only child, period. And you've been denied by your parent, father or mother, that you didn't even exist, and they had this whole life without you. And then even when they pass, you can't even be acknowledged. It's a difficult pill to swallow. It's hard. So trust me, again, I don't speak about things that I don't know or that I haven't experienced. So I am here to tell you that, we all go through it. We have to embrace, we have to recognize that there is a bigger reason for it. And if we are dealing with someone's pain that is going through a terminal illness themselves, or they are going, right? I do. Miss Percy, right? Miss Percy was my best friend, and she was like 90, right? And I was like 6 or 7. If you wanted to find me, you could find me Miss Percy's house. I just told that story to my husband the other day. He thought I was crazy, but for real, I have an affinity for the elderly and for babies, right? And there's a reason for that. I do well with those people, right? On the in-betweens, kind of, because everybody's kind of confused and they're all going through their things in life, and we are unpredictable. But babies are honest. Children are honest. If you just ask them, they're going to tell you the truth, because they're not tainted by the ills of this world. And the elderly have lived and experienced life, and they are tender because they're going backwards a little bit, they're reverting back, they are a little bit more fragile. So it's important for us to recognize that. So I've always had an affinity for those two populations per se, and I'm very good with those populations as well. But, I don't have either of those populations watching tonight. So I guess this message is for that middle group. So you guys must know that if you're going through it, or you have someone that's experiencing, someone close to you that's experiencing, a terminal loss because of cancer or any type of illness that's going on, or a sudden death. It's never easy. It's always difficult, but you are able to do it. I'm gonna say goodbye on Instagram. I have 20 seconds remaining because they're locking me out. But I want to say I will see you guys here on Instagram next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard, and I will announce the topic no later than next Monday. Y'all be good on Instagram. Bye, guys. Okay. And I understand, and it's no problem. Okay, so back over here. Here we go. Miss Percy's house, the memories, right? Yes. So just know that, you know, you're going through that, you know, that's that person's destiny. It's not your destiny, but you are impacted by that person's life and the part that you played in it. And, you know, a lot of times I'm gonna put this on your heart and in your mind before I move on from this point, how you handle yourself in this situation, the strength that you provide to the other person that's going through it, whether they are the person who's passing or they are the person who is close to the person who's passing. I want you to realize that how you handle yourself, how you treat them, your availability to be there for them, your ear to listen when you are exhausted, you know, putting your own needs aside beyond the situation is very important. That is going to show who you are. Yes, we have memories. It's going to really show who you are. It really expresses your character, and other people are watching. The person that's close to that person recognizes that, and they see that. They're gaining something from it, and not only that, they're also finding about who you are. Okay, and it's okay to say, you know what? I'm not really strong right now. I don't know how to handle this. I'm going through my own struggles and my own emotions. Give me a minute. Let me take this in. Let me think about it, but I'm here for you. Okay? Give me a minute to process what's going on. Let me put my stuff aside for a moment. Let me figure out how I can be here for you. That's the bigger person. That's where your true character is revealed. That's where the bond is strengthened between you and that person. Also, if it's the person who is passing away, you know, it's not that you are supposed to be guilted per se. You're not supposed to be guilted into going out of your way or doing more than what would be expected of you as a human being. Because first of all, you're human first, right? You're not the Almighty. You're not the universe. All you can do is what you're capable of doing. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be nourished. You know, that's mind, body, spirit. You know, you have to take care of your nutrition. You have to do everything. You have to rest, right? So you can only do so much, and you cannot neglect the things that are your responsibilities around you. Just want you to say that you cannot neglect those things. So, you know, anyone who really loves you and they're not selfish and they're growing as well, or whatever they're going through, they would not expect anything different. Trust me, if they do, then, you know, your time has ended with that person, and that is all that I can say about that. That's just my opinion. It's what it is. Welcome, Larry, and welcome, Claire. And Miss Clairlyn says, children are honest because their frontal lobe is not fully developed. Oh, well. Right. Well, you know, the level of maturity, and, you know, another one, you know, is, you know, when they look at that from, you know, from criminalizing, you know, children for crimes or mistakes, things that happen in school, you know, one child against another child, or things that happen outside, criminalizing their behavior, bumping them up from a juvenile offender to being tried as an adult. A lot of that has to do with that, you know, that brain development, you know, and the reasoning and logic. We know that, right? Hey, welcome, Larry. Brother from another mother. Welcome. Gotcha. So, you know, I just want, you know, you to think about that as well. That's a huge topic, and it's really important, you know. It's also important. But you like those words, right? Well, you know, I'm only the messenger, right? And I'm all good. How can I subscribe, right? Right. I have to give you the information for that. And I will. I have a meeting tomorrow, and I will, after that, we're going to go through something, and then I will share all that information with you guys once I get it, because I'm really, really happy. You just have to request it there, Sydney or Adam. And then also on YouTube, you can go there and request it also, because I'm still uploading there as well. I have all those. I have 2 seasons, 32 episodes. First season, we're on 28 of second season. And then we're going to hit 3rd season. I haven't decided the amount of break we're going to take because of the holiday, you know, Memorial Day and summer and all that. But that's how we're going to go. But I will definitely share all of that with you guys, all of the developments, all of that. So I will share all of that with you guys. But I want you guys to hit me to inbox me with your topic suggestions or anything you want to talk about. It doesn't have to always be serious. It doesn't always have to be anything. It could be anything that you want to talk about. That's what we do. We just go from there, and we talk about all of that. But just want your suggestions for next week. This show has always been about you guys. It's always about what y'all want to talk about, and just kind of bringing everybody together and everybody feeding off of everybody. Again, strength in numbers. If it makes it easier for you to talk about something that you are finding difficulty talking about because the topic was raised and people are talking about it, then hey, it's cool. That was the mission, and we accomplished that. So we're all good. So, I'm gonna basically, and Cindy says hit me up and tell me how to do it. I'm technically challenged, lol. Right? Okay. I have your number. I think I still have your number. I've been through 5 phones since then, but I'm gonna text you when I get off of here, and I'm gonna make sure, because my number changed. Of course, I had to make changed. My number was changed, so I will make sure to let you know that it's me, and we'll go from there. But listen, so just to wrap up, remember, embracing change. We're always going to be faced with change. That is the one thing that we are promised. Between life and death, we are promised nothing but change, right? The 2 things that are definite are life and death, right? If we could live to be trillions of years old, we would, right? But we have a purpose here and a destiny, and that's what we do. The in-between is up to us. But know that that in-between time is going to be filled with change, and it is possible to embrace it. You have to be able to embrace the change. And the way to embrace the change, again, is to take the time that you need to internalize, sort through your emotions, sort through your feelings, and recognize that, okay, you're faced with this. What are my strengths? What can I do? So now I'm going to make a plan. Now I'm going to deal with only what I can deal with. I'm going to trim the fat per se. I'm going to figure it out. Now I've made the plan. I'm going to adjust accordingly. And I'm going to know that I'm not alone. I'm going to realize and recognize that it's bigger than me. A lot of times the things that are happening to me, the world is watching, even if it's my small world or if it's a larger audience. People are looking at how I handle myself, how I respond to what I'm being challenged with or faced with. And how I react is more important because that builds my character. It's also important that in embracing change, that in the end, you'll have a clear understanding. At the end of that season of your life or that challenge, you'll have a great understanding of why it happened. When it happened, you didn't, because you weren't really prepared for that. You weren't strong enough at that time to handle it. What would you have done with that knowledge, right? If you knew. So that's sort of where you are with it. So I hope that has helped you. Please remember to continue to comment. Continue to comment after. Share if you liked it. Share it on your page. I'm always, I have about, I don't know, like 1,400 requests in there. Got to get on there and add the people on so they can come and join the audience as well. Got to filter through, the ones that are just crap. They're just coming to look or whatever. But anyway, we're going to do that. Next week, let me know what you want to talk about. I'm here for that. We're here for it, okay? And Claralyn says, yeah, I was exhausted from moving, and I'm glad that I clicked on the link tonight. I'm glad you did too. I was thinking about you. I started to tag you, but I'm trying to tell you, everything in this power kept me away from you, from you guys at first. But I'm glad I got pushed into it. My husband said, you can't let that stop you. Let's go. You got to do it. You're going to be late. Oh, well, deal with it. They're used to you're always late. You're born late, right? I was, really, truly. I was. I'll go out late too, maybe. I don't know. Okay. And Clarence said, just got a confirmation that my childhood home is going to be out of the family May 15th. Oh, I'm sorry for you. That's a big change. That's a big change. And, just know that you'll be in my prayers, and I'll be wishing the best, for you to be able to have the strength to move forward through that. Something good is going to come out of it, I promise. I know you can't see that right now. I know it sounds cliche, but the truth is something good is going to come out of it. I promise, promise, promise. So, as always, inbox me your topics or DM me on Instagram your topics for next week. I'll announce it on Monday. Yes, it is a major change. Yes, it is. But you are not alone. You have conquered bigger things than this. You are here for a reason. And, you know, you're going to be, your testimony is going to be someone else's strength. It's going to teach someone else courage. It's going to grow other people's compassion for you. It's going to grow your compassion for other people. So just know that, you know, you're not alone. In the grand scheme of things, we are just small little guppies in a big old pond. Okay. All right. So just send me your information for next week, whatever you want to do. Continue to comment after the fact. It's fine. Share it, please, on your timeline if you like it. I have made it public so it's possible to share. And then if you have any questions, let me know. If you have a way to contact me other than, you know, through Instagram or DM, please, by all means, utilize that. And I will be, I know you told me that, and I will be available. So I'll talk with y'all next week. And it's great that I have you on. Thank you for all the comments. Remember that this show is nothing without you. It's all about you. And as always, there's always a little time to be fancy, and that's me. So I'll see you guys next week, 9 p.m. Central Standard. Fought for the people. That's right. All right, Claire Lynn. All right, everybody. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all next week. Thank you for watching.